In this edition of our cruise guide series, we visit the delightful Lisbon, the enigmatic and vibrant capital of Portugal. You've got to watch your elbows, can't stick them out in the middle of the street. It's cinematic, full of life, and Instagram-worthy from every angle. Welcome back to the Ritzy Travel Guide. My name is Bill, and in this episode we visit the fascinating city of Lisbon, one of the most trendy port stops now that cruise lines are practically tripping over themselves to add to their schedule. On our day trip, we're pretty much going to see the city from end to end. We're going to take the number 28 tram, which is the iconic route.
Okay, true to form, 28 tram is packed to capacity.
We'll eat some local food, try some cocktails, and visit some UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Now, whilst a lot of our audience who watch our videos are coming from a cruise line perspective, the tips and tricks and information we'll give you today would be relevant to anyone who's arriving in Lisbon and staying for a day or two. Now, one of the first things to note is that Lisbon is one of the most walkable capitals in the world. And for that reason, from the very get-go, we decided this was the perfect opportunity to self-guide. And over the course of the video, we'll show you all there is to see and do. If you haven't seen our cruise guide series before, each episode we rate the port on a number of factors. There are 6 criteria we always rate for. How accessible is it from port? What sights you can expect to see? What food there is on offer, as we all like to sample regional cuisine? How easy is it to get around? Is it a walking port of call, or do you need to arrange alternative transport? What is there out of town? And finally, is it a hit or miss? We'll cover all of that in this episode, and at the end, come to our conclusion. Right, to get things going, we'll start off with our ship steaming into port. And some ports are quite tedious, not so Lisbon, especially the arrival 1 hour before. Make sure you're on the deck well before arrival, because it's a stunning vista going under the Lisbon Bridge. On this particular occasion, we were sailing with MSC, and the captain came on to tell everyone we should go on deck because we were about to sail right under the bridge with only inches to spare. At the time, we weren't sure if he was exaggerating just how close the top of the ship would get to the bridge, but take a look. People stood where they could, on chairs, in the jacuzzi, almost on top of each other. We had 360-degree cameras to get the wraparound effect.
Look at that, not much clearance.
I think all 6,000 people on the ship must have been outside trying to catch it.
That's how close we were. That was close.
Just like that, we went under, and everyone clambered back out from their viewing positions. As the cruise ship nears the dock, it's still full of photo opportunities, so don't lose your position on deck. You'll be sailing right past what we're about to visit in town. You see, it's very photogenic even before you get off the ship. So as we've said, Lisbon is eminently walkable. Let's see how you get from the cruise ship into the centre of town. So to get our bearings, let's look at a satellite view. Here's where we sailed in, right under the Lisbon Bridge, making sure we could get underneath it, bend our heads a little, and through we went, onwards towards the cruise dock. Being sure to take lots of photos on deck as you sail in, so you can bore everyone back home with your stunning footage. This is the cruise terminal, ship's dock at Santa Apollonia. And straight off the bat, you can see ship's dock very close to the centre of town. It's just a 10 or 15 minute easy stroll to the heart of things. Later on, you'll see the route we take through the arch and into the historic quarter. Okay, let's get off the ship, head for the downtown. We've got a lot to see. We were there for just 10 hours. You walk off straight into a covered cruise terminal with loads of space. And there is a duty-free. And prices were surprisingly affordable, more so than on other port stops. so it's a good place to stock up. This is where the shuttle and tour buses will wait for you if you're not walking.
Anybody got any tours? This is where they'll all be, right outside the terminal building.
And the ever popular hop on, hop off bus.
Liking the cute little tuk-tuks and vans. Very colourful. Ooh, look at that car, isn't that cute? That's an executive tour. Liking the snow leopard on the top. You come straight off the ship to these cute little side streets. It's lunchtime, so everybody's trying to get us in to have something to eat. Got to watch your elbows. Can't stick them out in the middle of the street. Suddenly we've turned a corner to somewhere quite busy. Lots of hubbub and tuk-tuks reversing into each other and running you down and tooting their horn. More than enough tuk-tuks and tour cars to shake a stick at. It's busy, busy, busy round here. Busy central. Hashtag lots of people. And what's the reason they're all congregated out here? Because we're outside one of the top visits in Lisbon. These tuk-tuks make Thailand look a little bit on the conservative side. How about these? I'm particularly liking this one. And where there's lots of people, there's lots of things to buy. Some of these trams are quite full. Well, that's rather cute. I would have rented that if I'd seen it. It's the spinach tour car. You've got a dog in front. A car with a dog.
Incidentally, we have a growing catalogue of ports of call videos, as well as our normal ships reviews, ships tours. We cover a lot of the cruise lines, so please do remember to be subscribed when you know the next one is coming out.
We're very bright and vibrant in Portugal. One of Europe's sunniest places. So you can pretty much say that no matter when you come, you're going to get sun and blue sky. And we've reached Rua Augusta, the main shopping strip through the centre of Lisbon. Sizzling today in Lisbon. Okay, what have we spotted here? Oh, pasta de nata. Look at that. Any 6 varieties for $6.80. How about that? It would be a crime not to try them out. We got some of the original ones, and then we've got some of the more exotic ones. These are fruit and chocolate. These are the original pasta de nata. So we've got a selection to try out. Very, very good custard tarts, pasta de nata. Excellent lamination, no soggy bottoms, really crispy texture, and oozy gunky. Must have the iconic caipirinha. And a pina colada. Wow, my eyes are going a bit zigzaggy. He said it was strong, and I can tell you what, it is strong. I shall be zigzagging my way back to the cruise ship. So what's Lisbon like? Well, it's very different from a lot of the other port stops that you'll go to on your Mediterranean leg. Because it's next to Spain, you think, well, it's going to be like Spain, but it's not. It's got a character all of its own. Little cobblestone streets, narrow alleyways. People speak very good English in Portugal. If you're worried about going on a cruise and thinking the countries will they speak English, of all of them that you go to, Portugal will have the best English. We're going to take a tram in Lisbon because that's what you do. Now, everybody says if you get on this tram as a tourist, it's going to be full. I would agree with that. There is no space on that tram at all. No space. We're going to have to push our way on. There we go. Whoop. There is no space to be had. I shall have to hold on. We're wending our way through the streets of Lisbon. True to form, the 28 tram is packed to capacity. The 28 doesn't come very often, maybe every 10 or 15 minutes, and it's fairly guaranteed to be full. Ooh, are we all holding on, Freddie? Yeah. This is a rickety-rackety journey up into the hills of Lisbon. There is no space to be had. I shall have to hold on. Because all the guidebooks tell you, you must get on the 28 tram. We've done exactly that. We've done what the guidebook said. We got on the 28 tram. It's full. Nobody dares get off, because if you get off, you'll lose your seat. So people are not getting off at pain of death. Are we enjoying this relaxing tram ride so far? Okay, we got off the 28 tram because it was rickety and sort of nostalgic and sort of fun, but not as fun as people were saying. So we abandoned that, jettisoned that. We went for about 10 minutes, chucked all over the place, bones sort of intact, and we walked our way to the Republic Square. And one of the reasons people come to this square is the Time Out Market. In we go. What we're going to find? Looking like a sort of food court, really. Actually, wow, this is a huge food court. Look at that. All the way from there, round to there. It is big. Like a Portuguese version of a German beer cellar. Smell all sorts of different aromas on the air. Everything from Asian to Portuguese. That was a whiff of Thai green curry I smelled just then. It's sundowner hour, surely. Already had a caparina. Almost time for another one. Rather fun and happening, isn't it?
I think I like the vibe of this journey.
Great atmosphere in here. Quite buzzy. Portuguese are actually very friendly people.
So what do we have at the market? We had oysters, which were jet fresh and wolfed down in about 35 seconds flat. A lovely plate of aged and cured meats on toast, yum, and also some caldo verde, which is a potato, vegetable and chorizo soup, and it's a Portuguese speciality, and you should try it. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please do give it a thumbs up, as it lets us know we're on the right track and you'd like to see more of this type of material. Now, don't forget we have our overall scoreboard coming up at the end. In the meantime, we caught this rickety tram to get along the coast to the outskirts of Lisbon, where you'll find the famous UNESCO Belém Tower. We originally saw the tower as we came in on our cruise and thought we must see it. Okay, for the history buffs watching, the tower was built in the 16th century and symbolises the gateway to the capital. It was originally on an island, but the earthquake of 1755 moved the entire course of the river, and it became landlocked as we see it today. It has some great views out to the river, and it's well worth the trek out there. As it was getting close to sunset, one of the most popular places to watch the sun goes down is at one of the Miradouros, which means viewpoint, and we chose the Miradora de Graça, as it came highly recommended.
Very colourful.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yes. And what after seems like an endless climb from one end of Lisbon to the other, we've walked our feet off, we've come to the Miradora area of Lisbon, perched up high, overlooking the harbour.
It's got a great chilled bohemian vibe, almost artsy, and has a number of chic bars in the area to grab a sundowner. And an almost unbeatable view down to the cruise terminal for that social media shot to send back to everyone at home.
Everybody's congregating, taking their shots. Doesn't matter whether you're a cruise passenger or not. It's the best view of Lisbon and the sea. So if you're looking for that sunset shot, come up here to the Miradora.
It makes a great way to end your visit in Lisbon. Now, back to those scoreboards so we can rank everything that we've seen. First off, access into town to see the sights. I would rate this as excellent because Lisbon is not a tender port, thank God, so you save time on that. And you get off the ship so close to the centre of town. So for access, you absolutely have to give the port of Lisbon 10. For food, Portuguese cuisine is not as well known as other Mediterranean cuisines such as Spanish or French, but it's fresh and has a heavy emphasis on seafood and is very affordable. Portugal gets consistently ranked as one of the best and cheapest places in Europe to have a meal, and we would agree, and on that basis, we're going to give it a 9. Back to our scoreboard, and getting around, we also have to give a 9 as the town is very easy to navigate, and you could always try those rickety trams. Now, cruise or self-tour, and for this component we do feel the city has a lot to see, but it isn't huge, and if you have an overnighter cruise, and increasingly they're offering these now for Lisbon, you may want to consider on day 2 an excursion out of the city. And the perfect candidate for this, and is very reachable, is the magical Sintra. It's 1 hour from Lisbon and accessible by train or organised tour. It's famous for its opulent hilltop castles. And Sintra is UNESCO World Heritage recognised. The colours are mesmerising, it's real, photogenic stuff. And our final category is Lisbon a hit or a miss? It is very definitely a hit, and I'll tell you for a variety of reasons why. Number 1, and this is important when you're travelling, is consistently ranked one of the safest capitals in the world. And that's in steep contrast to Rome and Barcelona, which are infamous for their pickpockets. So please do get off the ship. Don't just laze there by the pool and say, don't fancy going into Lisbon, because you'll miss one of the cherries on top of the pie of the Mediterranean cruise. Now, we have many other port reviews on our channel. Please do take a look at the playlist, and we have an ever-increasing number of cruise ship reviews taking you around those, which ones we like, which ones we don't, which ones we would thoroughly recommend. Please do subscribe to our channel so you know what's coming up next and what you should be looking out for. In the meantime, take a look at our videos here, and we'll see you in those. Thanks so much for joining us on the Ritzy Travel Guide. We'll see you in the next ones.